Hello and welcome back to my small little library. Today's video is gonna be about the books I think are the equivalent to a popcorn movie. A popcorn movie is a movie that doesn't really have any like agenda, teaching, or like not that much drama, but it's just there for the entertainment, and it doesn't have to be particularly good. You just have to feel good watching it. Oh yeah. Sorry for the dog in the picture. I have no idea what he wants to do. So yeah, if you can hear dog noises in the background, I'm sorry, but the dog is walking around. It's really warm in Berlin today. We have 26 degrees Celsius, which is like, yeah, it's summer temperatures. And he gets too warm all the time, so he tends to walk around a bit. So yeah, if you can hear him, he lives here. I'm not gonna make him go away, so yeah, I hope we can live with that. But yeah, let's talk about some popcorn movie books. I'm kind of needing a title for these books, but yeah, I have like a few series here which I think do fit quite well in there, and then some like, yeah, standalones, some different kind of books, different genres, because I don't think that the genre kind of like is really important in these kind of books. But yeah, also I don't want to say that like these books are all bad books, but I feel like they aren't like the creme de la creme when it comes to books. I just feel like they're just really entertaining, so I don't really care if they're written that good or bad. Not that I can really tell that much about it, like, you know, I don't have an education in like books, writing, language, anything like that. I'm not really that educated in that kind of like a thing, but for me these books aren't like the best written books, but like they're so entertaining, and I think you should read them if they fall into like a genre you like. So the first one I want to start with, and don't get me wrong, I think it's a great book, but Howl's Moving Castle for me is just like a really... The movie for me is more like a harder hitting movie, but I feel like the book is more popcorn movie stylish, because in here the characters are all a lot more rough around the edges. They aren't like you aren't as sad for the main characters and stuff, because they're all a lot more mean in the book. If you have only watched the movie and never read the book, go and get this book. It's so funny because you have all of the parallels. The book is, the movie is like a really good adaptation of the book, but the book is way meaner and way rougher, and I kind of feel like this would have made like, if they would have done it 1-to-1 to the movie, it would have made a popcorn movie. So yeah, for me this one definitely. The other ones in the series not so much, because I didn't like them as much. Well, the second one and the third one I think is a little bit too convoluted to fall into the popcorn movie category. But yeah, the first one for me definitely great read. It's just so entertaining, the book. But yeah, if you want a little bit more of like a dramatic retelling, watch the movie. That is definitely a little bit more like on the dramatic side when it comes to like the emotions and stuff. This one is a little bit more like rough around the edges. The people are a little bit more mean. But yeah, for me that one is a great first fit. And then the second one, I gave this book 5 stars. I don't care if it's written good or not. I don't know how to tell if a book is written good or not. I can only tell if I like it or not. But this is just a funny book if you need like really good entertainment. Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. You have like a troop of old men who get back together. Like, they were fighters once as like a mercenary group, and they fought monsters. And then once this kind of like were fewer and fewer, and so they all went back to their lives and got old, and now the daughter of one of them is in a besieged city, and they go and try to rescue her, and they're old and out of shape, and it's just really funny. It's just, you know, it's a fantasy that doesn't take itself too seriously, and that just makes a great fun, and I really wish that this would have been a movie. Maybe they will make a movie at some point. I mean, let's be honest, it could always happen, you know? But yeah, I would love this as a movie, because I think this would be just like a really entertaining movie. But yeah, pick it up. Then we have two, well, one standing for like all of the ones that are out there. That is Conan by Robert E. Howard, I think. I don't think the Conan books are like literary masterworks. They aren't. I don't even think that the stories are that like interesting, because it's a lot of like, but he's just fighting, you know. And good-looking women he likes, he's fighting, you know, but it is so entertaining the way it is written and the way the story goes. So even though I don't think like it's a particularly like good thought out story, it's just entertaining. It's just, you know, you read it and you're laughing, and it's even though it isn't really a funny novel, but just like how it is, like it's just a lot of like killing people, and always getting out in the end. No matter how like dumb our main character is, he isn't really like dumb, but like he doesn't use his brains a lot, which was the intent of the author. But I think it makes for awesome reading if you just need something mindless to entertain you, and that is all the popcorn movies are for me. So yeah, this one, perfect. I'm pretty sure that there are Conan movies out there. I haven't watched them. Maybe they are actually popcorn movies. That could actually be, but because I haven't watched them, I wouldn't know. Because obviously I'm not a movie person, so I haven't watched that many movies. Let's just be honest about that. I'm not a movie watching person. I get too annoyed with people in movies, and I can't get over it. It's like you don't want to watch a movie with me. I tend to skip scenes I don't like, which my partner found to be really interesting, and I was like, yeah, why wouldn't everyone do that? And turns out not everyone skips scenes that he can't stand because he can't stand the drama around the characters. If I can't stand a scene, I skip it. I don't think it's that big of a problem, but you know. Then, because I finally finished the series, for me, the Dan Brown, Robert Langdon series, the first three. We're only gonna talk about the first three. For me, part 4 and 5 don't exist. Don't pick them up, they're bad, ignore them. But the first three, we have like Angels and Demons, and then we have The Lost Symbol and The Da Vinci Code. Absolutely popcorn movie books. The films as well are popcorn movie, let's be honest about that. I've watched them before I've read the books. Yeah, it's all popcorn movie, the books and the films, so it's kind of fitting, you know. I don't think these are really that well written. The characters are kind of like weird, and it's just a lot of like walking around, doing touristy stuff, solving riddles, and getting through it in the end with a little bit of injuries. But yeah, finding out what the mystery is. I think these are great. As I said, ignore part 4 and 5. I think part 4 and 5 are horrendous and bad. I have no idea what happened between part 3 and 4 that made them so bad, but yeah, it happened. It's annoying. But yeah, you can either read the books or watch the movies. I don't think it makes that much of a difference, though I don't know why, but they filmed the third book as the first movie, and then they filmed the first book as the second movie, and then they filmed actually the fourth book as the third movie, which is the only movie I haven't watched of them. So yeah, I don't know why they did it in like this weird order, but like a random order, but yeah, you know, I think these are just entertaining. I can totally understand why you wouldn't like them. I think, you know, even I can say these aren't particularly good written books. I just think they're kind of entertaining, you know. They're kind of like, you get to know a little bit about the city the book is set in, and then you have some interesting riddles that you can actually like do yourself by reading the book, and yeah, then you can see if you're intelligent enough to get the riddles, which like, they aren't hard, but you know, I don't know, for me, I think really these are like the most popcorny movie books, because these are the ones where I actually think they are not good written. They are kind of like lazily written, but still great hits, so yeah. We have another thriller. I have to be honest, this is the only book I've read by Mary Higgins Clark, and it's called Daddy Little's Girl. But I found this one to be like a really like a popcorn movie thriller. It is a thriller about a child that was murdered, and her sister's testimony put a guy behind bars, and now 22 years later the guy is supposed to get out, and she gets back into town and tries to stop the whole thing, and then obviously like things come up, and she learned a lot of new things, different things, yeah, stuff like that. But I think, while I think that there are a lot of like two-dimensional characters in here, I think it's really entertaining, you know? It's a story like you've seen and heard about a lot in different versions, you know? It's nothing new. Obviously, it's not new because the book is older. Even though the theme of the book is like done a lot, I think this is just a really entertaining version of it that keeps you reading, even though I don't think it's like the best out there of the versions, but it keeps your interest so good that I was really surprised about the book. And yeah, I do plan on reading more from her, but I feel like she has a lot of books out there and I have no idea where to go next. So yeah, if you have read Mary Higgins Clark, maybe leave me some suggestions below from her that are also like really entertaining popcorn movie like books, if she has more of them, because I think that is something she does well. And she should do more of them if she hasn't. But yeah, if you know any of hers, leave them down below. Okay, so the next series I want to talk about, I think we'll get a little bit of like mixed reactions. For me, I like the series. I also like the TV series that is connected to this. This is one of the few TV series I actually watched a lot of, and that is Kathy Rice's Temperance Brennan series. I own 3 English versions, and then I also own 4 German versions. These are all different books. The series is quite long nowadays. I think we're in like 30 books, right around, somewhere there. But yeah, these are all the ones I have read so far, and I watched, I think, 5 seasons of the Bones TV series, which is inspired by this one. It's not really the temperance of the books in the series, but I think they both have their merits. I like the Bones, well, Temperance Brennan's is her real name. The TV series is called Bones. I like her more in the books, but I like the rest of the story kind of a little bit more in the TV series, because in the books she has like an ex-husband, and I think it's always a little bit annoying when that comes up because I don't think it's necessary for the story of the books. But yeah, I read a few of these. I think I read like 2 more on ebooks, but in all honesty I can't remember which ones, and that was way before I tracked my reading or anything, so I have no idea which ones I've read already, except for when I go back to read them and I realize I've already read them. But I think just like the whole series lends itself to kind of a little bit of a popcorn movie, because let's be honest, there are gonna be a lot of errors in here. Our main character is an anthropologist, and she kind of dabbles into being a detective, which already is kind of unrealistic if you think about it. But then, yeah, obviously she works with her partner in the police, which she doesn't like at the beginning, and then, you know, they get in a relationship and stuff like that. But I think just like the fact there are like different cases all the time, and the books aren't like longer than they need to be, you know? I think the cases have like the perfect balance, the perfect amount of length that a case needs to be. Like, these books aren't like big books, you know? Let me get this one, for example. Bare Bones is part number 6. And this is number 6. I haven't read them in like the order they come in. I do plan on doing that, and I might do like a series of reading vlogs about it, but I haven't yet. So yeah, this seems to be part 6. And part 6 is 400 pages, which I think is a really great length for a thriller. But yeah, I like the character. I like her antics. I think it's a lot of like cliches in the book, especially if you have a lot of cases like, oh, the abusive boyfriend who maybe killed the kid and put it in the oven, and yeah, she gets attacked a lot, she gets herself into dumb situations because she doesn't, like, she's a really rash person, but I kind of enjoy that, and I think her character is really enjoyable despite all the flaws the books have. And so yeah, for me, these are definitely popcorn movie books. I don't think they are really incredible when it comes to the writing, but I do enjoy reading them over and over again. I've read these multiple times. I can't get enough of them, to be honest. So yeah, I do plan on reading the whole series at some point, but yeah, I have to acquire it first, and getting so many books is expensive. But at some point in my life I will do that. But yeah, for me these are really enjoyable and my favorite kind of thriller mystery books, if I'm honest. Then the next one is, I think, the only book that actively describes itself as a popcorn movie book, and that is the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. It's kind of a little bit inspired by Godzilla. We have a planet full of like incredibly big beings that have nuclear reactors as energy sources, and we have portals to Earth where they come through at times, and yeah, people, obviously, we're humans. When we see animals, we want to tend to them. And so yeah, we have the Kaiju Preservation Society who try to like save these animals, make sure they stay on their planet, even though they at times can get through to our planet. And yeah, they just try to save these beings from big evil corporations. And the book was written at the beginning of the pandemic, and the author is like, yeah, I just wanted an entertaining book, and he did that. This book is incredibly entertaining. I really like the whole, it is an action movie in book form, and yeah, if you read the book you can feel that that was the intent of the book, and I think you can discuss whether that is a good thing or a bad thing. I, for one, think it's a good thing because you get what the author promises you, you know? There's nothing surprising in here, it's just the author, you read the blurb and you know what the book is about, you know? And you won't get a surprise in the story, and I don't think books need to have a surprise in there. I don't need like 50 plot twists to kind of try to make your story interesting. I just need some humans trying to save some really, really big animals. And doing their best. And enjoying it. And being like cool characters at that, you know? So yeah. Love it. I haven't read anything else from him, though I do realize now that he is a rather famous author. I just hadn't heard of him before, so yeah, he has quite a few books out there. At some point I want to pick up more from him, though I do think that I probably, but they aren't obviously in the same realm as this book. This book has a specific thing it's supposed to do, and obviously his other books don't have that, but yeah, I definitely want to read more from him because this was just a joyride. Which brings us to the next author, and I think, I don't know if this is surprising or not, but for me, two popcorn movie books are these two Stephen King books. And I have to say, probably a lot of people think all of Stephen King books are popcorn movie books. For me, not. I think a lot of the books have like rather interesting backgrounds and stuff, and I don't think they're simple and badly written. I also don't think these two are badly written, but I think in comparison to his other books, these are more like quick entertainment grabs than anything else, which I love them for. I absolutely love these two books. And the first one is Joyland. I have this illustration edition hardcover copy, which I love. These two both are published under the Hardcase Crime publisher, which does like thrillers and stuff. I don't know why he chose to publish them through that. I know that he really likes the publisher and wants to like help them out, so they did publish two of his books. Three. I have a third one, but the third one I think isn't popcorn movie. So yeah, we have Joyland, which is a haunted amusement park kind of thing, like a pop-up amusement park, and we have like a horror ride and things go wrong in there. Really interesting. Love the design of the cover here, well, the backside, because you have like the map of the amusement park and stuff. And then the second one is the Colorado Kid, which is where there's like a dead body on the beach, and we have pretty much a really young journalist and 2 older journalists who work at the paper where this is happening, and they discuss the case pretty much, more or less. And yeah, it's I think, well, I feel like this is inspired by like a real case that is out there where there was a man found and they couldn't identify him because he didn't have anything on him that could identify him. This is pretty much the same story in just like a fictionalized version of it. I really enjoyed that just because of like the banter between the young and the old, and like comparing facts and making it like a little bit journalistic but not really, you know. That is why I like this one. But yeah, these 2 really stand out for me as Stephen King books because they really don't feel like the rest. So I think if you maybe aren't the biggest fan of like the typical Stephen King book, try these ones. Also, like the last one, Later, it's called Later. It's also published by the Hard Case Crime. I think it's also a little bit different, but like more leaning towards the other Stephen King books. But yeah, these 2 really stand out to me. For me, these 2 are like really like entertaining reads more than anything. Also, they're a lot shorter than most Stephen King books, which maybe also changes stuff reading them. And now we're already at the last ones. And these are also kind of a series, not really a series, but these are all of the Alien books I've read. These 2 by a father and a daughter I read last month, really entertaining. And then we have, well, the novelization of the first movie, absolutely great. And then we have these 3 that play between the movies, but have characters of the movies in them. These are inspired by the movies and the graphic novels, but aren't really canon in like the movie realm of Alien. For me, I really love the films. I hadn't ever watched them before meeting my partner, and in like the first 2 years of us dating, we watched a lot of movies because I wasn't a movie person at all before I met my partner, and he made it so that I actually enjoy a few movies. I'm not a movie buff like him, you know, but I enjoy a lot more movies nowadays. And he actually made me, well, he made me watch the first one, and then we continued with the other ones. So now I watched like, I think actually all the Alien movies, and also like one of the Alien vs Predator things. But yeah, I think none of these books come close to the movies. Just because I think the Alien works incredibly well as like a movie thing, you know, just yeah, it just works visually. And I'm not like I can't, there's a name for it, but like I can't visualize things in my head really well, which makes things like orientation and stuff really hard. But yeah, it also means that I can't imagine how things look when I read them in a book. It isn't really a bad thing in most books, but it helps that for the Alien novels I watched the movies before, and like I know how the alien is supposed to look, and so it makes it easier for me. But yeah, for me the alien just works visually very well on the movies. But these are just like, especially the ones that have more like aliens hunting humans, it's just so entertaining. Yeah, there are a lot of people dying and I enjoy it a whole lot. Which is a weird thing to say. But yeah, that is probably for me the reason why these fall into like the popcorn movie category. I don't think like any of the Alien movies ever had like a more like a really big message or anything like that, you know? And the movies are just like that. You don't have a happy ending necessarily. There's a lot of death. You don't like... You maybe shouldn't get attached to characters in the books because they tend to die. But they're just so entertaining that I think these are just like, if you really just want entertaining kind of horror book, but more like an action horror book, I think the Alien books are worth it. They're a ton out there. I'm trying to like thoroughly make my way through all of them. I only read 6 so far, which I think is a beginning, and I probably will buy a few each year, you know, and then slowly get through them. But yeah, for me, the Alien books are like action horror at its finest. I don't think, but they aren't all equally well written. Some are better written, some are worse written, but they're still all entertaining, you know. It doesn't really matter that much which ones are like better written or like not so goodly written, but they all entertain me so well, and they are really quick reads because of that. And I just enjoy the act of aliens hunting humans. I just think it's so nice to read about. It's like a really, yeah, it's a really entertaining thing, you know. I mean, it's not like I want humans to die, but it's still funny at times, you know. And it's just really entertaining. I don't know what else to call it, to be honest. So yeah, this, well, this is like a selection of books that I think are popcorn books. I'm just gonna call them popcorn books. These are more entertaining than anything else. These maybe aren't like literally masterpieces, but I think these are worth their place in your bookshelf if you enjoy the genre they're in. If you don't enjoy the genre, they're probably not worth being on your bookshelf. But yeah, these ones I'm really happy to own because I can go back to them without a problem. A lot of these I also read more than once because I find them so entertaining, and sometimes I just need something I already know that I know is going to entertain me and get me like through a few hours in the afternoon and get my thoughts of different things. And I think that is exactly what a popcorn movie is supposed to do. And if you're a person like me who isn't really that much into movies but a lot more into books, these are a good alternative to the good old popcorn movie. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little video, and yeah, maybe leave a like, a comment, subscribe. That would mean the world to me, to be honest, and I will see you in my next video.